the marquee today, and I am so honoured, so honoured to be next to this lovely lady here. She said to me, I've just got back from Italy and I brought this apron for you. And I said, I have to wear it.
Isn't it gorgeous?
So, what are you making for us today?
Well, today we're going to make involtini di pesce sparti, and which is rolled up little parcels of swordfish. It's a Sicilian, typical Sicilian dish that they make. In Italian, it's called involtini. In Sicilian, we say braccioli.
Braccioli.
Braccioli. Braccioli derived from the word brascia, which is coal. The coals from the fire. So
it's traditionally cooked on coal?
Yeah. And then we're going to have a bruschetta di primavera, toasted some bread, and it's more like, instead of bruschetta, it's more like cicchetti. Have you ever heard of cicchetti?
I haven't.
Okay.
Has anyone heard of cicchetti out here?
No? Okay.
But
Can I give you a little story? Can I give you a little story on cicchetti? Okay, cicchetti was created in Venice by this lady who's got a bar, and she was tired of all the drunks that were drinking at the bar and going home and going to their wives and, creating such a batch. So she created little bread like this with the seasonal produce, and they call them cicchetti. And what she's actually done is stopped a lot of the drunks in the bars in Venice, and now they give you drinks with a bit of cicchetti.
It's quite popular in Italy. I've travelled to Italy a few times, and I'm sure everyone here has travelled to Italy. But it's quite popular in Italy to go to a bar and get food with your drinks.
Yeah.
And I think it's important, not to take away from the demonstration, but I think it's important that in Italy, it's not a huge drinking culture, it's a food and drinking culture.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make sense for them to just drink and not have any food. So they actually give you food, which in turn keeps you there and drink more. But it's all good fun. So whereabouts in Italy did you go?
I was in Sicily. I do a tour. I had my own private tour, and I do it every year. And I take a group of people, and I give them the experience of their life.
And how do you organise the tour? You obviously
Through me.
Through yourself?
Yeah, you can go on my website, which is www.carmelascuisine.com.
You've definitely got Facebook, Instagram, and all that sort of social media stuff as well. So
follow me, you'll see. And you can give me a call. I've got my own cards if anyone wants to at the end of this, and just give me a chat and I'll give you my cards. Yeah.
And Sorrento
And I'm the owner, executive chef of Sorrento Trattoria, and I'm also president of the Lady Chefs of the Italian Federation of Australia.
You're a busy girl.
Yes, I am.
Okay.
You only live once. You've got to live it.
Exactly. So what are we starting off with?
We're going to start off with the pesce sparti, because then they're going to take the time to go in the oven. So the pesto resistance is we're going to roll them in pistachio. That's the Sicilian way. A lot of people sort of think, oh yeah, but Sicilians, we have a lot of nuts in our food. That's the different part of the Italian and the Sicilian. That's because of the half of Sicily was Arab and the other half was Greek. So, all right.
What part are you from, sir? The Greek side or the... Okay, what are we looking for?
My pesce sparti.
In the fridge?
Here it is. What?
We might have had some sparti with
Today is a really good day because I've been walking around while I've been here, and I've seen so many beautiful families together that it's really the spirit of Italy.
It is, isn't it?
Isn't it?
And I think I was speaking to Vincenzo, the CEO of the Italian Chamber before, and family is such an important part to the Italian tradition, to the Italian person, isn't it?
It is. So I've gotten the whole swordfish and I've filleted up in really little bits like that. So the trick of it is always to do the end that doesn't have the joints, because then when you can roll it, you can cut it in half and it makes it a lot easier. And I've done some stuffing, the cucina povera way, which is with old breadcrumbs instead of just breadcrumbs.
And cucina povera, for those that don't understand Italian, does everyone know what cucina povera is? Cucina povera is?
Poor kitchen.
Poor kitchen.
But it's not, it's rich kitchen. So, in the stuffing, I put currants, lemon zest, mint, parsley, I've got to remember, parsley, mint, lemon zest, cherry tomatoes, currants, and we don't put Parmesan cheese because a lot of the Italians don't put fish and cheese together. You know how you go to Italy and you get a seafood pasta and they won't give you cheese.
I agree with them 100%. I can't stand having Parmesan cheese on my seafood, on a pasta marinara or something like that.
It just takes the flavour away and it kills it. So I'm going to put it.
What's combining all that for you? Is it
olive oil?
Olive oil?
So I learned a little trick on the olive oil as well, if I can share that with you. You've got to make sure that it's at least, when it's new, you've got to make sure that it's got a time frame of around about 18 months.
So from its manufacturing?
Yeah, because it loses its flavour.
I've heard it's olive oil is quite different to wine, as in the sense that a good wine, the older it gets, the better it gets.
Yeah.
Well, I've heard that olive oil is quite opposite, as in as soon as it comes out of the machine,
you've got to use it
where it's the best.
It's got 18 months of experience.
And 18 months before it's done.
Otherwise you just lose it and it loses that fresh, tangy flavour that it's got, and that's what it's meant to. And you always got to have it in a dark bowl, you know, like a dark container. If you have it in a clear, the sunlight goes and kills it.
So dark bottle's okay?
Yeah, dark bottle.
And obviously store it in a dark place as well.
Yeah, the darker the place, the better it is. So these are really, you can see these at the market a lot in Sicily. They're not much. A lot of people here, I actually haven't seen a lot of people have the Bescispati, involtini, but in Sicily it's a really, really big thing.
And are you going to be holding those together with
pistachio
toothpicks or anything like that?
I'm going to put toothpicks on
You
there.
do? Yeah.
So I'm going to roll them in pistachio.
What does this dish, what does it mean to you, Carmelo? Like I know today we've had a lot of demonstrations of people that have made personal dishes that brings them home or takes them to a place. What does this dish do for you?
Well, my grandfather was the last tuna fish expert in Sicily in 1966. He had a very big boat and he had a lot of people who worked for him. So this connects me with my heritage. So anything that I do, it's a connection with my heritage. It's like the roots are planted from the tree and I just sort of like stretch myself, and grow.
And is this a traditional recipe or have you put a modern
This
twist
is
on it?
a bit of my own. Everything that we're doing today has got a bit of my own sort of knack. So I've got these little skewers.
And it's important because I think a lot of Italian cooks, Italian chefs, there is this constant comparing to what my nonna did or what my mum does or what my dad does. But when you're a professional and you're a chef, you kind of want to put your own
have your own
personal
flair.
touch in it, yeah.
Yeah, and you'll see that with the meals that I'll create today. Just that own personal flair, because I think food is a representation of yourself. You represent food. You are what you eat. And today we're in a fast-paced society, and we've forgotten the connection of what our parents had with food. We really need to consider and maybe change the navigational course of our own lives and create that into our own children's life. I'm not saying that everybody does that, but because we're in a fast-paced society, we live very, very fast, and we're doing everything accelerated, we're not making the time.
I think I agree totally. I think slowing down sometimes is what's needed, and that's all that is needed, just to slow down a bit and appreciate what you've got around you, because we all fall into the same trap of being too busy at work and go crazy, and you know, slowing down sometimes and just appreciating what's around you, and sharing beautiful food like this with your family and friends is, I think sometimes is the key to just having a nice,
longevity.
beautiful life.
Longevity, you know, having a long life. There's a place I don't know if many of you know about America. There's a place in America, it's called Rosetta. I think it's just out of Brooklyn or Detroit, around that area. And they were finding that the people were living until their 90s and that, like living a really, really long time. And they found that they all came from Italy. And they still kept the Mediterranean diet. So I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of olive oil.
And do you, I don't know if this is an old wives' tale or not, do you soak the skewers first, or?
You soak the skewers if you're doing a barbecue.
In the oven it's not so bad?
Let's hope. Yeah, it's on 200. I don't know if it's really, it's not really, I feel that it's not that hot, is it? Just hope that turns on.
So while that's cooking?
Yeah. We're going to make a little bit of bruschetta.
Beautiful.
But more like cicchetti. Cicchetti. So, we have here some
But
toasted.
if we're going to be traditional, shouldn't I be drinking?
A little bit of wine. Yeah. Is there anyone out there who's got wine?
Where's the wine? I might just duck off to the bar. There is a fabulous bar if you're not right now, but after the demonstration, if there's a bar there that's doing spritzers, they're doing Birra Moretti, they've got wine on tap and all that sort of beautiful stuff.
So, is everybody enjoying today? The real spirit, you know, like a real Italian spirit.
The market has been a fantastic insight into the Italian culture and Italian food, and I feel blessed being able to stand next to some of the wonderful talent that's been up here. But
Thank you.
the Cuisine Italian Festa, this fest has been going for I think 4 or 5 years now,
Yeah.
and it's just getting bigger and bigger and better and better, and it's a wonderful wonderful festa to celebrate.
It certainly is. So, this one's got a little bit of mascarpone. I've cut some semi-sun-dried tomatoes and diced them up very, very fine. Because you need to have them diced, otherwise you just grab in the whole bit and it's not very nice. And you just put a little bit. And this one, I've made this up and it's called Primavera because it's got the taste of springtime. Primavera, springtime, I'm sure you all know that. And it just really got beautiful flavours bursting through. A lot of people don't really know that mascarpone is, you can cook with it, it's a dessert and it's a savoury, a bit like ricotta. And
you know what I love about this the most is that with all your cooking so far, you've really got the person that's eating at heart, don't you? You do. Like even by dicing up the sun-dried tomatoes, it's making sure that the person that's eating these
Is going to enjoy it.
But not only that, but not get a whole chunk of semi-dried tomatoes in one mouthful and then not have anything for the rest of it. So
Yeah.
I love the way you do that.
Thank you. And also the artichoke hearts, I sliced them up. Instead of doing them in fours, they're all nicely sliced. And then we're going to put a little bit, I hope everybody likes it, put a little bit of anchovies on there as well. Got to be anchovies.
I hope no one likes it. There's more for me.
You don't like anchovies?
No, I hope no one likes it because there's more for me.
Wonderful. So good.
So how long you been doing the tours for?
Last 3 years I've been doing tours.
And how many people do you normally take over?
I do a boutique, it's called boutique. Tailored, it's private, and I only take up to 10 people for the sole purpose of I want to keep that experience with the people and they become like my family. And I think I've done massive tours as you've travelled yourself, and you lose people, you lose that essence. And because I know so many people in Sicily, they're my friends, and when I bring the people that come with me to Sicily, they become their friends, you know, and there's that person connection, and that's what we're missing today.
Definitely, I think so as well. And to be able to experience that overseas, especially in a paese or in an area like Sicily, to be able to experience that, it takes a lot of years to build those contacts. And to be able to do that through your experience,
Yeah.
I think is a wonderful thing that you're offering people.
Yeah, because I look at myself always when I do stuff that like I'm like a heart therapist. My cooking classes, when I teach cooking, Brazilian cooking, it's about connecting that person with their own heart, with their own connection, their own heritage. You don't have to be Italian.
No, exactly.
You know, everyone's got a different heritage. And that connection is really, really important because the heritage is the essence of who you are, isn't it?
It is. And funny we're sitting here at a cooking demonstration, and I say this all the time. Most Italians, whether they're nonnas or mums or nonnos or kids for that matter, most of the way that we show our appreciation for each other is through food.
Yeah.
Whether it's cooking a beautiful meal for someone or whether it's sharing a meal with someone, food's always involved. I think that's what makes us Italians a little bit special in the sense that food brings us together. And at home, I always say, I know whether my mum is upset with me or whether she loves me because of the food that she puts up. Because if she puts on something that I'm not a fan of, I know she's upset with me.
I know. And if you didn't eat it,
I'd have to eat it.
whether you wanted to or you didn't want to, and if you didn't have non ti piace, non avevo. So the dessert we're going to do the figa. The figa, these are my own recipe. So figs.
Your own fruit?
No. This summer. It's really yeah, so figs. I'm going to put a little bit of mascarpone, a bit of vino cotto, and I know
One of the best vino cottos. It's actually made locally here in Australia. It's made in Essendon. Lovely lady that makes that, Angela. She's a beautiful lady.
this is artisan.
Yes.
That's why I brought this up, because I know that
Thank
you love
you.
artisan products. I'm actually like Frank, artisan products actually represent you. none of us know everything, so we need to be an artist in one particular, product and sell that. So I love Angela's product because she even makes the vino cotto with the little baby things in there as well.
She does, yes, she does.
And so
it's a wonderful product. It's called Il Baronello.
Yeah.
And it's I think it's the only vin cotto that's made in Australia. I think there's a lot of imported vin cottos from Italy, but it's a local made vin cotto and it's absolutely delicious. So you're wedging, I should
I'm
say.
wedging these, and I'm going to put a little bit of mascarpone and a bit of vino cotto and some toasted almonds, and then piece of the resistance, rose petals. You ever eaten rose petals?
Flowers are starting to, it's really slow. I might do that.
Yeah, rose petals. Yeah, a lot of people don't realise, but in Italy and Sicily they do cook with a lot of flowers. I had your mum. Oh, I had this lady who made this dessert when I was there. She's the Duchess of Parma in Palermo, and I stayed with her at Palazzo Butera, and she made this dessert, bianco, I don't know, it's called bianco mangiare. E ci ha messo the jasmine plant. She got in the garden and she got the jasmine plant in there, and I thought, I couldn't eat it because we probably all have hay fever here, but the jasmine plant in Sicily, has got, you can eat it. It's beautiful, isn't it? Grazie.
I think we're away now.
We're on our way?
Yeah.
How's timing?
You can take as long as you want. We have all the time in the world. We don't really, but we want you to finish your demonstration.
Oh, thank you, Frank. Thank you so much. Well, listen, you can chop this up and put it in a nice dessert plate, but I've made it that, I want all you to have a little bit of a taste of this if it's possible, to make it a little bit, then you can actually find the delicious flavour out of it. It's beautiful.
So just raw fix.
Raw fix.
Spread of mascarpone on it.
Then we're going to put a little bit of
Roasted sliced almond on it.
almond, and then put it there. And then I'm going to drizzle some vino cotto and some rose petals on it. Really, really easy,
Yeah, that's to show that good food and good snacks don't really need a lot of ingredients. Doesn't need a lot of work. It can be quite easy to put together, and quite easy to put together.
And they're healthier, as you say, they're healthier for you. Being Italian, I think we eat too much sweets. I think we're not so much here in Australia, but in Italy they do. They have that for breakfast.
They sure do, but then they don't eat for the rest of the day.
Yeah, so, and we've decided to eat a little more healthy. I love eating healthy. I think you are what you eat. So you can use your heritage and you can make the best of it and use good ingredients to sustain you and to make you healthy, because at the end of the day, that's what makes your body work better.
So while Carmela's going about her business, is there any questions for her so far? Have you got any questions for her? Yeah?
My tool?
How long does the fish need to cook?
About 15-20 minutes, not even. If it's on 200,
It's on 200, and it's been cooking on 200 for about 2.5 minutes because the oven's not cooking. So, yeah. 15-20 minutes at 200 degrees. Can you use other fish?
Yes, you could do whiting, tuna, as long as you slice it very, very, very fine. Very, very fine. Because tuna doesn't need very long. The tuna and swordfish, they come from the same family.
questions? Yeah? What about eggplant? Can you use eggplant as a substitute for fish? Oh, with swordfish. Together with swordfish and eggplant.
You've got to put
Is that a question or is that a recommendation?
Yeah, you've got to put tomato because tomato and eggplant are the marriage, the perfect marriage. Yeah.
So tell us a bit more about Sorrento Trattoria. What's going on there?
Well, we got the Italian week of the Italian week of the world on, and we've got a really beautiful meal prepared.
So you're a part of the international Italian cuisine week,
Yeah.
and you've got that. For anyone that doesn't know, the Italian Chamber are working together with the Italian government on putting together a special week, and it's called the Italian Week, Italian Cuisine Week, food, restaurant, something or other. Italian Week, International Week of Italian Cuisine. Well, that's a mouthful. Anyways, the Italian Chamber have got 15% discount vouchers, and there's a handful of participating restaurants, and Sorrento Trattoria is one of those restaurants.
Yeah, my son works there. He's second chef, and I'm executive chef. And so when I'm not there, because I'm out a lot, he does most of the cooking, and I've got another couple of chefs that work underneath there. But I make sure that the ship's working.
Ship's working. Good.
Gotta work properly. Gotta work.
And where is it?
We're on 20 Ocean Beach Road in Sorrento.
Fantastic. Has anyone ever been to Sorrento Trattoria? You have? You haven't been there? I didn't hear. You have been there or you haven't been there? Anyways, it's a lovely place, and hopefully if you go in there and go with this Italian cuisine week, you'll get to meet Carmela herself. Do you come out and speak to the guests sometimes?
Yeah, I do. I come out all the time and make sure that the customers are having a good time, that they're enjoying their visit and their experience, because that's important. And as I said, I'm about people. People are important. We've forgotten that the customer, that everyone's important. You know, without the customer, we've got no business. You've got nothing.
That's exactly right, and I think it's important for a lot of restaurants to understand that, because some restaurants and cafes lose track of that, don't they?
Yeah, because you get caught up in the business sector of it, and you forget that without the customer, you don't have a business, and it's about building relationships with the customer. It's important, and it's at the end of the day. Without customer, you can have a great business, but if you don't have customers, you've got nothing.
Exactly, you don't have much at all. Look at this. Simple dishes, lots of technique, lots of flavour on there. I love it. And they're coming along really nice.
They're coming on good. Okay. So, and it's rose pepper. So you want to, I've got some little forks and knives that I bought.
I might put them. Look at that.
You want to try it?
The presentation and the colour on those is just delicious. I might just put those up there, and when you're done, some people might want to come up and try some.
We're still waiting on the swordfish.
How's it going?
They're doing pretty good. Not
Pretty
long.
good.
Yeah, it's probably another 5-10 minutes.
5-10 minutes and we're done.
So,
So with this Italian international cuisine, are you doing anything special on the menu?
yes.
You are?
Yes.
Are you allowed to say anything?
Of course. Okay. I've got the whole week I'm creating new dishes like these ones with the foundation's Italian but a little bit more modern and with a new twist. And Sicilian long table. So for anyone who wanted to come along for lunchtime, around about 1 o'clock we're doing it. So we get all the tables in our big dining room and we put it all along. And I've got a friend of mine who's putting Italian music on, and they're just going to, probably about 5 courses, very small, but you'll be quite full with Sicilian wines, and just to be able to show the customer what we do. I do create the long table every year at the restaurant. I do it in July and August for a sense of, it's important, you know, Frank, I've noticed that today a lot of people have become isolated, and the phones are, we're all on the phones. Look, we're all that because we're in a busy thing. So the long table, I created it for people to get out of the house. Do I need it? I'm busy, but I really care about the community, and because our parents came from Italy and Sicily, they had a real sense of people, the community, and because we've become so caught up today, we've forgotten that without the community we've got nothing.
I remember as a kid, Christmas and Easter were a massive festa, a massive party. And as us kids have grown up and we've had kids, it kind of shrinks into just your own family. And you miss your cousins and aunties and uncles and stuff like that. But I fondly remember fantastic festivals of big Italian communities, and you know we have lost it, but I think it's important that we keep a hold of that tradition and keep that tradition
make
up.
it stronger. We can make it stronger because our parents came out here, they didn't have much, right? And we've got more.
We do.
And yet we've got less.
And we do.
And you know what I forgot with this dessert? I might have to describe. Talking to you.
Was I distracting you?
Yes,
I
you were.
apologize.
It's the crunch, and that smoothness and the freshness that just creates such a delicious flavour.
And just sprinkling it over the top,
Yeah.
and not allowing it to absorb too much moisture, just having that nice grip, I think is a nice touch.
And you can put it in a big dessert dish if you like, and make it like just grab it. If you've got people that are coming over your place and you want to do something very quickly, but you don't really want to fuss too much, but it's really good, you know? And you could do it in a nice bowl, do a little there, and they can just grab it up with a ladle or a spoon.
And just everyone serve themselves and just get in there.
Grab a little bit and serve themselves. I'll just put these all out of the way. If you need anything or you have any queries or anything, you can email me and I will gladly send you the ingredients if you don't, you know.
So you've got recipes and ingredients
Yeah,
and all
you
that sort
can
of
go
stuff
on my website, which is www.carmelaspagina.com, and I'll have these recipes up this week.
Fantastic, thank you. Was there any questions for Carmela while she's still here? She's got probably another couple of minutes for that dish is started to be ready. Any questions about our tours? Any questions about Sorrento yet?
Yeah, when do you have your tours? So when do you do your tours?
I do my tours in October because Sicily's the best.
Have you just been in October?
Yeah, I just came back a week ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Sicily's the best. The weather's just perfect. It's a beautiful spring. Like the weather is autumn, but it's like those beautiful spring days we have here, and you can walk and you don't feel tired. And it's off season. You don't have a lot of tourists.
And how many tours do you host? One tour?
One tour a year.
Oh.
I've got probably another 4 seats for next year and one the following year left because I get really booked out because it's
How long?
10 days. Yeah, I'm thinking about doing them for 12, but the reason I did them for 10 was because it takes you 22 hours to get there, and then by the time you come back, it's another 22 hours. You need to have a couple of days at least rest before you go back to work. So you need to take 2 weeks off work.
So can we leave for a tour there and keep going?
You can keep going, and I meet you in Palermo because my tour's hosted in Palermo, and we finish in Palermo. And next year we're staying at the Duchess's Castle at Palazzo Butera. So if you want a beautiful experience, half of Sicily. I do from Cefalù, Castelbuono, Agrigento, Favara, Trapani, Massal, Sciacca, yes.
Do you need an assistant?
And yes, I do. I've got plenty of assistants. Plenty of people wanting to put their bags in my luggage.
That sounds like an awesome trip. I would definitely full of culture, full of food,
Yeah.
full of.
It's an experience tour. So if you're looking at, you want a holiday, no, don't come with me. Don't come. It's an experience. It's a one of the heart. You get to meet a shepherd who is 5 generations, and he makes ricotta with us. We eat his food. You know, it's really what we're missing here. That connection with people.
Do you have Italian language?
No, because I'm there and I translate, and most of the people that I'm friends with that are part of my tour, they know how to speak English. Very versatile in Sicily. They've had to become because they've got one of the biggest economy on tourism now. Without tourism, they can't function. So let's go to.
How's that question started? Look, I had a bit of a peek at it before, but now we're looking delicious. She said before, she only allows about 10 on her tour.
Yeah, tend to still keep that. So you know when fish is ready, when you got that white texture coming out, you know? It's telling you, I'm ready.
That smells beautiful. Can you guys smell that?
So you put a little bit more olive oil, and what I'll do is I will cut that up and put it on this plate. You don't really need the skewers, but I just put the skewers in Sicily. They don't put skewers. Look at this.
And it just falls apart, doesn't it? It's just
Delicious.
no one's allowed to have any of this. Unfortunately, you can't taste it. It's not allowed. So, but we can eat it later.
Yeah, this is my favourite. As you said, Frank, this is what I feel very connected with my family. With all my family, some people are lucky they still got their nonna and their nonno and their mum and dad's alive. All mine have passed away. And this is how I still stay connected with mine, you know.
Obviously, I've lost both my grandparents, and I make salami every year, and I make passata every year, and I don't make my own wine, but I do my own olives, and I do that for that reason, to keep that tradition going, because I think that Italian tradition, if it gets lost, it'll be a shame. And I was having this chat the other day. It's funny. Us Italian Australians hold tight to these traditions. You go back to Italy and they've even lost that tradition.
Yeah.
They've moved on. There's very few people that make their own salami and very few people that make their own passata in Italy. But here in Australia, we hold on to that tradition, and it's important for us, especially for my generation, our generation. It's important for us to hold on to that tradition because we're so far away from our motherland, but we have this really strong bond to Italy, and I think it's important.
And what's happening too is a lot of them are forgetting the dialect is dying because they're all speaking proper Italian, and that's part of who we are.
Yeah.
That dialect.
There's a lady from Veneto that has been living here for quite some time, and she's been asked to preserve the Treviso dialect because no one speaks it over there anymore.
No.
And she's been living here, and she'll still know how to speak the dialect perfectly. And I think she's a teacher and she's well educated, so she's at the right point to preserve it. But it's funny how they've called upon someone that's migrated out to Australia to preserve something like a dialect.
Well, it's important because the Italian language was only created in the late 1800s, and it's the Romance language. But before that, every province, every region had a dialect, and it was their form when they created a language so that everyone can communicate. You know?
And very different from region to region, the dialects. They're in some ways a completely different language.
My husband comes from Palermo, and there's a little town, like a little borgo, like a little village, who still today their dialect is the Arab speaking. It's got a lot of the Sicilian in there, but it's got that Arab, and even the Palermitani can't understand that. And only the old people speak it. Yeah, I think that's really bad. Yeah, we need to keep that, to have that. So here we go.
Is there any other questions for Camilla? Any other questions? You sure? No more questions? Why don't
You take the pictures.
take some pictures? I did this at the last demonstration, and I just said first in West dress and everyone stalked to the front. But first best, but just in an orderly fashion, come to the front. Don't stand with each other. There's enough there to get a taste of one of the dishes. And if you want, have a bit of a chat to Carmela, she's here. Have a bit of a chat to her and find out more about her tour. Carmela, thank you very much for being a part of.
Thank you.
It was a delight being next to you. Thank you very much.